If you've ever watched your sweet, sleepy house cat suddenly transform into an absolute stealth ninja at the sight of a laser pointer or a feather toy, you know that hunting instinct is deep. Today, we're diving straight into the fascinating 10,000-year history of our feline friends to uncover the shocking truth about their hunting habits, what actually drives that behavior, and where it fits into our modern world. So here's the big question. Are cats really the ultimate rat hunters? Well, the answer is going to completely shatter everything you thought you knew about the classic game of cat and mouse. For centuries, right, we've deployed cats as this ultimate natural pest control. We just naturally assume they're the undisputed champions of the urban alleyway. But is that reputation actually deserved?
To figure that out, let's look at this timeline of our 10,000-year alliance. It actually started way back during the agricultural revolution in the Fertile Crescent. And by 3,500 years ago, cats were literally deified in ancient Egypt as protectors of the grain stores. Fast forward to the 14th century, they were mandated on English ships to protect cargo. And get this, here's a wild anecdote. Back in 1850, during the California gold rush, mice were destroying so much property that miners were literally trading an ounce of gold dust for every single pound a cat weighed. No way, right?
So the really crucial takeaway here is that cats essentially domesticated themselves. When early humans started farming and storing surplus grain, it brought in a massive population of mice, and that acted like a giant biological magnet. Wild cats wandered right out of the savannah, offering to protect our food in exchange for an easy, reliable meal and some safety from larger predators. Honestly, it was the perfect ancient business transaction. Okay, moving on to Section 1, the mechanics of the hunt, inside the hardwired mind of a house panther. Let's look under the hood for a second. Every single cat, whether it's a 400-pound lion or your tiny 10-pound tabby, shares this exact hardwired three-step neurological blueprint. First up is the stalk. That's the silent, creeping approach using camouflage and retractable claws. Then comes the pounce, a lightning-fast leap. You know that little rear-end wiggle they do right before? That's them stabilizing their weight for a precision jump. And finally, the kill bite. It's a highly specific strike designed to sever the prey's spinal cord. They practice this sequence over and over again through play, which totally explains why they attack their toys with such intense focus. And that brings us to the dopamine loop. This brilliantly explains why your cat might completely obliterate a toy mouse right after eating a full bowl of premium food. The hunt itself is just an irresistible, dopamine-fueled thrill ride. The searching and stalking phases actually flood their brain with feel-good chemicals. It's a deeply ingrained neurological reward system that drives them to hunt, completely separate from the need for calories.
Which brings us to Section 2, the urban reality, the twist in the ultimate feline rivalry.
Here is where we hit a massive plot twist. Just look at the sheer difference in scale between these two animals. On one side, you have the house mouse. It weighs maybe 20 to 35 grams. It's small, it's defenseless, literally the absolute perfect target for a solitary hunter. But then look at the modern city rat. These guys weigh well over 300 grams. That is 10 times heavier. Plus, city rats are highly aggressive and they will fight back. For a predator trying to avoid injury, tangling with a giant city rat is simply not worth the risk when there are easier meals around. To really put this into perspective, let's look at this wild 79-day study from a New York City waste recycling center. Researchers set up cameras where feral cats were living directly alongside a massive colony of over 100 rats. Over the course of the study, they recorded 306 encounters where cats and rats shared the exact same space. Out of those 306 encounters, the cats only even attempted to stalk the rats 20 times. And out of those 20 stalks, they managed a grand total of 2 successful kills. Just 2. In 79 days, completely surrounded by a buffet of rats, the felines almost entirely ignored them. So if they aren't catching them, why on earth do people still think cats are great ratters? Well, it boils down to an ecological concept called the landscape of fear. Basically,
When you introduce a predator, the prey doesn't actually die off, they just alter their behavior. They stay hidden in their burrows and forage less openly. So humans see fewer rats and assume the cats handled it, when in reality, the rats are just waiting it out, safely out of sight.
And you know, this is actually absolutely crucial, because when we intentionally deploy cats into cities to fight rats, native birds and wildlife are the ones that actually suffer. Since city rats are just too big and dangerous, those feral cats go looking for easier, defenseless targets instead. So native ecosystems take a massive hit, while the rat problem remains completely unsolved.
Let's look at Section 3, the future of pest control, replacing the barn cat with precision technology. Since our feline friends are basically retiring from the front lines of urban pest control, let's explore the high-tech solutions taking their place. I mean, AI and robotics are completely transforming the industry right now. We're talking about AI-killed traps equipped with real-time visual species recognition, meaning the trap can actually tell the difference between a rat and a neighborhood pet, ensuring zero harm to non-target animals. There are even robotic dogs doing automated inspections, thermal drones mapping out heat signatures across entire cities, and predictive AI crunching weather data to spot problems before they even happen.
But the future actually goes way beyond physical traps. In the near future, we could see genetic editing, like CRISPR, used to humanely suppress pest populations. Imagine creating population control through genetics instead of dropping toxic poison everywhere. It completely eliminates the issue of chemical resistance in rodents, and it drastically reduces our environmental footprint by protecting birds of prey and, yes, even cats from secondary poisoning.
So, wrapping this all up, there's a quote here that really hits the nail on the head. The domestic cat remains a living testament to a 10,000-year-old alliance, its every pounce echoing the ancient survival strategies that once protected the very foundations of human civilization. Even with drones, AI, and gene editing taking over their ancient agricultural jobs, a cat's instinct remains this beautiful living link to our shared human history. Every time they swatted a string, they are performing that exact same ancient survival strategy.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If technology is officially taking over the night shift, how will you help your house panther satisfy its 10,000-year-old hunting instincts today? The next time your cat wiggles and pounces on a feather toy, remember the millennia of biology, dopamine, and history driving them. Ask yourself, how are you keeping their wild spirit alive in your living room?
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more How Meets History.